You gonna be playing anything?
I think at one point probably the
Just let me know so I can put the speakers on.
Yeah. All right. No problem.
Alright, so we Gucci.
They gon' love me for my ambition.
Woo! We are here. Club Ambition Podcast Cap, episode 67. Nearing that episode 70 mark. Your weekly I almost said ghost. Your weekly host here. Sound back. Shout out to everybody listening from across the world, especially Rhode Island. Tapping in every week. We have Marloon here, engineering.
That's it, guys.
Doing his thing. Just him.
Go press Ireland.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening with you know who, but what we do know is that we have a special guest this week. We're gonna cover some topics towards the end of this with her as well to get her opinion on some things happening currently in the news. But prior to that, we definitely want to deep dive into her life and her journey. For those who don't know, this is, in my opinion, the #1 food reviewer in New England on this entire, East Coast area, Rhode Island, whatever you want to specifically state. She has gathered a lot of attention online, very, very popular and attention grabbing with her content, and has built a very, very interesting platform, brand, and company. And it's always been someone that I've always felt like one day I definitely want to talk to her. And I'm like, why not have a conversation with her on camera, on the podcast, and have everyone get a glimpse into her life with me and have that full-on conversation together. And she's in here. A lot of you guys know her as Buns and Bites, but it's Laura from Buns and Bites in the building. Appreciate you coming through, stopping by today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. Let's start from the beginning. Might as well, when it comes to your background. Laura, before we get into the actual company, where is Laura? What's your full name? Where are you from? Your entire kind of like even Rhode Island history, because a lot of people we've had in here, they even have been born in New York, and then they reside in Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. But what's Laura's story?
So my name is Laura Afonso. I am a Rhode Island girl, like through and through. I was born in Rhode Island. I never left Rhode Island. I don't plan on leaving.
Same here.
I feel like that's like a very Rhode Island person. Some people feel like you get stuck here. I feel like I'm very lucky to be here. I absolutely adore everything about Rhode Island, specifically Providence. I was born in Providence. I grew up on Charles Street, right off of Charles Street.
Okay.
So that is where I get my beginnings from. I went to St. Anne's for elementary school on Branch Ave, which is now the San Miguel School for boys.
Oh, wow.
I think.
Yeah, it is. I think so.
So, the school is no longer there. But went to classical, big Purple Pride.
Classical alumni. Yeah, I think you told me that in a DM. I was like, oh, wow,
yeah.
Classical alumni. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So you were there your entire, what class was this?
2009.
2009.
09.
Wow, 7 years apart from ours, right? 2016?
Yeah, 2016, yeah.
Yeah, wow. And then prior to that, what was your middle school? Did you have like or was it the same elementary?
It was like K through 8, very small school. Like, there was maybe like 12 to 16 kids, I don't know, in my class. So it was like super, super small.
Wow. Oh my God.
Big difference to go from that to classical.
Yeah.
My lucky star was that my older sister was a senior at classical when I was a freshman. So I thought I was like hot shit because I was eating lunch in the senior lounge. I'm like this little freshman, get to hang out with all the cool seniors. So I had a really great experience at classical. I loved everything about it, the diversity. Like the freedom that students have there, I think prepares them for college more so than the curriculum. If you don't want to go to class at classical, there's no teacher that's like, Laura, where are you? Why weren't you in class today? Like you would be at, many other high schools, private schools, forget it. And same thing goes for college. If you don't want to go and you want to sleep in because you're hungover, your teacher, your professor is not giving a shit. So
that's very true.
So classical really prepared me in that way.
Hell yeah.
For college.
I agree.
So
rest in peace. Who's that teacher that just recently passed away that was very old? You probably had her as well, right? Because everyone.
Miss Flynn.
Miss Flynn, right? Rest in peace, Miss Flynn.
Yeah, I didn't have her, but she was there. She was there when you were there. A long time before. Yep.
Oh man,
that was my English teacher.
Rest in peace, Miss.
She fell asleep on me a couple times.
Once or twice.
I wasn't gonna complain.
But it's like Laura said, she's not. They weren't chasing you. She did not care. She's like, listen, if you're not going, they're very, I like that. It's a very classical mindset. Then fast forwarding, graduating classical, what was your situation where you into sports with a scholarship? What was your transitioning from a high schooler to now an adult in the life of potential college?
Yeah, so I was not a big sports girl. I grew up a competitive figure skater, so no hand-eye coordination in terms of like playing like basketball or anything like that, or softball. But so I spent my time outside of like school sports. So I was a competitive figure skater. I started skating when I was a little tiny kid, and I skated through college.
Wow.
So that occupied a lot of my time on the weekends. After school, I skated like 5 or 6 days a week. So
There wasn't no like figure skating scholarships or anything, really? Probably not out here.
Not so much,
Really?
or like not so much of like what I wanted to like use it for, I guess. Like
Yeah.
I loved skating. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with like the friends that I skated with. And I'm sure that I could have applied for skating scholarships. I wanted to originally go to UNH. They had an awesome skating team.
Okay. New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire, yeah. I'm very grateful looking back that I didn't do that. Like, again, I feel like the life of a student athlete, and even that, like, to say that that's a reach, they had a kind of casual,
Yeah.
like they weren't like super, super competitive. So
Yeah.
like scholarships weren't really like what I was going for in terms of an athletic scholarship. I ended up going to URI 2013. I had a fun experience at URI, to say the least. I was also very, into my academics, trying to make the dean's list.
No sororities or anything of like that nature?
No sororities. I did my partying on my own very aggressively, and I enjoyed that chapter of my life. I'm glad that it's done, but I have some fun times to look back on. I can say that. My major was communicative disorders, so in
Okay.
hopes of being a speech pathologist.
Wow.
And that did not work out for me. So, and whenever I like talk to like kids, especially like younger kids who are like going into high school, and they're like, I want to do this. I'm like, make sure you do lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of research before you pick your college major.
Yeah.
It's just like, make sure you know what it's going to be like. Like, talk to people in that career
100%.
before you jump into a major and then you have a degree. I mean, I think that a lot of people, I think that the statistic is like 60 or 70% of people with a college degree like don't work in that area of their college degree. So, I mean, I think that it's very normal and it's totally okay, but especially if you are going into something specific, make sure you really want to do that and you're sure. So
did you graduate fully with that degree and everything?
I graduated. My bachelor's degree is in speech language pathology. You really can't you have to have your master's degree in speech pathology to be a certified speech pathologist.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that at the time?
I did know that at the time.
Wow.
And I also knew it was very competitive. I didn't know quite like how competitive it was. So I just like decided that I wasn't really cut out for that. My undergrad experience was very rigorous. Those classes were like very, very, very challenging.
I would imagine, especially if it's like required to be a master's to even become in that field. Like that has to be a very rigorous class.
You can't do anything without a master's in that field.
Oh my God.
So,
oh my
so that's what I'm saying. Like I regretted making that decision.
Yeah.
I mean, it all worked out. I ended up getting my master's at Providence College in educational counseling. So I have my MED.
Okay.
I worked in higher education for a couple of years. I enjoyed that. And I kind of like slowly started to segue into like media. And I was in grad school when I started Buns and Bites.
Wow.
And it kind of started to like, started obviously as like a fun little thing. Not that it really like popped off right away, but I took it seriously and I was really committed to it. And I took like a job at a media company that ended up not really working out for me anyways, but I learned a lot from it. And so that's kind of like how I hopped
the journey
along. So I have some degrees that I could use, and I don't use them, but I did take a lot out of my schooling and my experience along the way.
And when it came to everything leading up right up into that moment, coinciding with yourself being a child growing up, what was your actual parents' position in your life when it came to this? Did you have any parents that were, telling you got to be like, the stereotypical, you got to be a doctor and grow up. You got to do this, you got to do that. And also, what's that background of the culture? Alfonso's the last name. Is it Italian, or would that be too stereotypical to assume? What's the background of the actual family?
Both my parents are Portuguese. My mother was born here. My father was born in Portugal, and he came to the States as like a preteen. But all my grandparents, everyone was from Portugal, so I'm like 100% Portuguese.
Wow, 100% Portuguese.
I hope to live in Portugal. If I'm leaving Rhode Island, it's going to be for Portugal. I'm going, Jess is laughing at me because I'm living in Portugal. 10 years from now, I'll at least be living there part-time.
Oh, wow.
So I love Portugal.
So how was it growing up in a Portuguese family? What was the actual, did they put any battery in your back, or was it like, oh, you do whatever you desire? Like, how was that when it came to, your school life as a child?
My parents were always very supportive. They were very, by the book, you go to school, you're going to do well. They weren't super, they made you feel we will be disappointed in you if you don't, get good grades. But they weren't hyper aggressive or make you. They were supportive, and they were encouraging, and they wanted me to go to college. They were very supportive of everything I did in school. They're both hardworking, very, I don't know. My mom worked in the medical field. She was at Miriam Hospital for 40 years.
Wow.
My father was in sales, and the day after he retired from his lifelong career in sales, he went to URI and got his master gardener's license. My father is the wildest gardener you've ever met in your life.
Wow.
It's a Portuguese,
Really?
You can't meet a Portuguese man without a grapevine in their backyard. So,
wow.
His garden off Charles Street looks like something out of a fairy tale book. It's wild.
Wow.
So anyways, he immediately gets his master gardener's license, his arborist license, and now he does these wild, high-end luxury garden installs that's his second half of his life career. So obviously they're both, you get a job, you get health insurance and a 401k, and you do your career for, until you retire, and then you retire. And that is obviously not the path that I'm on. So I think I made them a little nervous when I was no, I'm not going to use my degrees, and I'm not going to get a stable job that has, 401k and
you're going to kind of break the barrier, no stereotypical journey, especially when it came career-wise. Did you have any siblings, or were you just the only child?
I have an older half-brother, and I have an older sister.
Wow.
So I'm very, very close with my sister.
So the youngest of them all.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm the baby.
So when it came now to the actual creation of Buns and Bites, I see now you have obviously a website. You've created this entire following, and your signature when it comes to the actual content, is literally living by the brand of the title, Buns and Bites. You turn around, you show your behind, and then you also show the food. Was this the actual conception from the beginning, or did this naturally become it? What was the actual creation of the journey, and what was that brainstorming moment that you had of creating this at all? Yeah.
So I always wanted to have a food page, a food brand, a blog, whatever you want to call it. I always just really loved going out to eat. Don't we all? Lots of food blogs. And I knew that I wanted it to be different and stand out.
Yeah.
So I always had the idea. I always thought oh my God, Rhode Island has so many good places to eat. I could totally make a whole page of all the places that I go to eat. But what am I going to do to be different? Mm-hmm. So it had kind of always been lingering. And as we all scroll on Instagram, TikTok, the app knows what you like and what you like to look at and what you engage with. Mm-hmm. So when I look at my For You page or my Explore page, or just what Instagram would show me at the time years ago, I would see obviously lots of food, lots of hyper local content. But then I would also see lots of women, obviously as a female, I'm following fashion pages, fitness pages. I see women's ass on the internet every day.
100%.
So I would see food in my page. I'd see food, and I would see butts.
Yeah.
And I would be nobody's put these two things together yet? What are we doing? I'm you like butts?
Who doesn't?
You like butts?
I love them. I love
We
my
love 'em.
I love my girlfriends as well. Shout out to you,
Love your girlfriend's
Deja.
butt.
I love that
you
butt.
You love butts?
My favorite butt.
I'm not showing anybody my
Listen, like the consensus, we all love butts.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
And let me tell you one thing, is that my following is more female than it is male. So for anyone to sit here and be like, over sexualizing, well, the girls are here. The girls are what are looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really want to hear anything about like overly. So, anyways,
Yeah,
I
no,
won't get,
we'll get there. We're gonna get to the
I'm sorry,
criticism.
getting ahead of
We're gonna get
myself.
to the criticism.
But yeah, so essentially, I had the idea and I didn't act on it for a long time. Like at least like over a year.
Procrastination.
Yeah. Well, I was like, this is dumb. Like, this is going to flop. This is going to be really embarrassing when, like, my friends and family are like, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, being like, remember when Laura made that weird butt page? Who thought that would have worked? So I was like, this is dumb. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Anyways. And then I think that I, like, read, like, some, like, motivational, like, I read a self-help book. And at the end of it, it was just like, what the fuck are you waiting for? Like, go and do whatever that thing is that you want to do. So I like left the house, went to Best Buy, bought a camera, and just started like.
Wow. What was the camera? Do you remember the camera?
It was a Sony like Pixel. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was like a good enough camera that I could take like a decent photo. But actually, they weren't decent photos because now I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I ever put a quality photo that bad on the internet. Yeah. Anyways, but I tried really hard. And
What year was this? Actually, I guess as well to put it in perspective.
This was in 2017. So it's
2017.
been a hot minute.
Yeah, 6 years
Been a
now.
hot minute.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh wow. And then, so what was that first post? Was it immediate right away Buns and Bites, or was it something different and then it became that, or was it just the food without the butts at first, or did
No,
it?
it's been Buns and Bites from day one.
Wow.
It's always been Buns and Bites. My content has not changed. The core at its core, it has definitely changed a lot in many different ways, but at its core, I have been doing the same thing consistently for the past 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So
Yeah, because that's what I've always known you for, especially for so long. Especially now, I feel like obviously with everyone's content, the quality gets better.
yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
But it's always been like a staple of, they're known for what they do. So then what was that first moment of like, okay, I'm doing this, it's fun, but this is something that is getting like a good amount of traction? Like, did you have like one post or something that you felt like, okay, I got to keep doing this because this is actually working?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like one specific instance. As soon as I launched it, I got like a immediate like great response. Like
Wow.
everyone who I was friends with was like, this is so fun. Like that's
Yeah.
so cool, which is like not what I was expecting. I was definitely, I did get like people who were like, what the fuck? But for the most part, like 99% was everyone being so nice and so supportive.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I'm going to run with this. I'm going to keep it going. And the restaurants were really into it.
Wow.
At least most of the restaurants, people who I interacted with were like, this is fun, this is cool. Like right out the gate, like you're getting a pretty good amount of followers. Like we want you to come eat here. And
Yeah.
when I started Buns and Bites, like my idea was that, like the idea of success to me was, oh my God, if I have like a couple restaurants that will like comp my meal, that'd be really, really cool. Like
Yeah.
that would be a success out of this, because obviously it started
Get to
as
eat
like,
free,
to eat for free would
Love
be
that.
would be the end goal for me, because
Right.
it was just like a little side blog that I
Yeah.
was making. I didn't expect it to like
Yeah.
become a part of my career trajectory. So
Yeah. Wow.
it surprised me for sure.
That's amazing. And then
Yeah.
when it came to the beginning, so the content was always Buns and Bites, but was it always how it is now? Like, or was it more explicit back then? Did you have like any like change in the moments of the actual, even like the way you stand with the actual food and everything, or was it like that from the beginning?
No, it's been like that since day one. Like
Wow.
the way I stand, hold the food. I mean, I definitely shoot my content like I think a lot better now, because
Yeah.
I have the experience of like figuring out what works, what I like, what
100%.
like setting it up.
Practice
setting the
makes
table up,
perfect, yeah.
right? Like how am I gonna like shoot this? Sometimes I have food that's like really easy to shoot, holding it, and then sometimes I have food that I'm like, how am I gonna angle this? Like how am I gonna shoot this? Obviously, the changing of the apps has really changed the way I create my content. Reels has completely like shifted the way, obviously.
Yeah,
I
because
think
you
how
started
everybody.
6 years ago. So where was it? Was it just regular?
There wasn't even stories
yeah,
when
there
I
wasn't
started.
stories or nothing back then.
There was nothing. It was literally just the one square post. That's
so were you
all
doing
could do.
photos
Just
or
photos?
Okay.
Only photos. Like I was so scared of video. I remember for like years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, a friend of mine who does video tried telling me, he was like, video is the future. You need to start doing video. And I was like,
100%.
no, you can't make me. Yeah, Farouk, he was like, he's a brilliant. He's amazing and he's a master of his craft. And he was like, you got to get video. And I told him no. I was too nervous. I was so comfortable with photos. And I wish I had listened because I could have been ahead of it and gotten into video more. But
Hey, but
here we are.
You're,
We've
you're
arrived.
Here now.
I'm
You're
trying.
Here now.
I'm doing my best now.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of arriving, what would you say to kind of jump forward a bit? What has been like the biggest moment that you have faced and can say has been a successful point throughout your career right now, especially when it comes to the company Buns and Bites?
Yes. I don't know that I have like any one like landmark moment.
Yeah.
I just hit 50,000 on Instagram. That means a lot to me.
Oh yeah.
I have 60,000 on TikTok, and it's crazy to me that in like the past year and a half, I have 60,000 followers on TikTok, but it's taken me almost 6 years, 5.5 years to amass
I'm surprised you don't have more, to
50,000.
be honest, on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You deserve more.
My
but it's
TikTok
gonna
is
get
like
there.
all over the place.
gonna
One
get
video will
there.
be like 10,000 views. The next one will be 200,000 views.
Yeah.
And then the next will be like 2,000. So I'm like working
You're gonna
through
get there, watch.
that TikTok algorithm. But yeah, I mean, I feel like at the moment, my calendar is booked for Buns and Bites. Like I'm booked out at least a month and a half for Buns and Bites shoots. Like that to me is feeling like I feel very like happy.
Yeah.
I feel successful and confident in my brand at this point. I feel happy that I have the followers that I do and the support that I do.
Yeah.
I have restaurants they're the ones that reach out to me.
Wow.
So I get to pick and choose who I work with based on where I like to eat. And
Amazing.
that's the best thing
Yeah.
that I could ask for. So
100%.
Yeah.
And break down that real quick, if you don't mind, when it comes to the concept of you did something that you love, is fun, but now transitioning to making it into a business.
yes.
Because one would assume, obviously, this is your full-time job at this point, when Buns and Bites.
Social media is at this point my full time. So
Yeah.
I do Buns and Bites. I also do social media management for restaurants.
Nice.
So between that, I also do real estate with my husband.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of things. Social media, I would say, is like my full time gig. It is like my greatest massive income
Yeah.
at this point. So yeah.
What was that first moment? Do you have like a first moment of like quitting the job you had at the time, or something that you were like, oh, now I can do this? Like, did you have something like, and was that, I would imagine, because we've all faced it, especially as entrepreneurs, that moment of like, when it comes to your services, like what is that even at first? Like what is services? Like who helped you with that? Like
Yeah.
structuring all that? Like what was that first like, conception of all that?
Well, I was working like a 9 to 5 at a media group in downtown. I didn't love it there. It wasn't a good fit for me. But it was actually getting my license in real estate that allowed me to quit that job.
Okay.
So I was
nice.
able to have like the financial stability to be in real estate. My husband worked in real estate already. So it was kind of like I already had the leg up.
Yeah.
We were working together.
So how long have you been married since then?
Yes. We've been together for 10 years, over 10 years.
Oh wow.
and
So
we've
he was
been
around for
married.
it all.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he's been, I mean, like I've been different people through this. So, he's been here from the beginning.
That's amazing.
Very, very supportive when I was like, hey, honey, I think I'm going to start a food butt blog. And he was like, let's go.
I love that.
So, I'm sorry, where were we?
Oh no, so so
okay.
now structuring it to kind of like a
Careers and
business. You
businesses.
quit the media company,
Yes.
and now what made you like, okay, I'm quitting this because I got paid for this, or like maybe you did, okay, so you got into real estate. That's
Yes.
actually where we were. So you became like a realtor,
Yes.
basically with him as well, right?
Yes. Yep.
And then transitioning from a realtor to doing this Buns and Bites. And then now was there, because obviously at first you were happy just to get comped for
Yeah.
meals, free
Yeah,
free
yeah.
free food. Who wouldn't love free food? But it's like, who wouldn't love money?
I wouldn't love money.
Yeah.
So what was that first like moment of concocting, like, all right, did you sit down with your husband, like, let's make this into a business, like this is how we're gonna structure this, how we're gonna start charging? Like what was that actual moment?
Very, very early into Buns and Bites, I remember it was like the wildest feeling because I had a restaurant that was like, hey, like how much is it to get you to come in? And at this point I only had like a couple thousand followers. So I was like, you want to pay me to be here?
Yeah.
It was wild. It was Rhode Island and I love them. They're awesome. And at the time I was like, I don't know, $50. Like what's like, I don't know what to.
Because you don't have nothing to base it off of. Yeah.
So, so as that grew, obviously I did a lot of, free content. Not only did I do free content, but in the very beginning, like I was paying for every meal that I was posting about. Like I would go and I would buy dinner and I would take pictures of it and I would post it. And then it kind of started to transition into, places saying, hey, like we want to comp your meal. We want you to post about it, post what you like. So I would do that. And then it turned into like, okay, well, how much does it cost to have you come in? And this started to change when I started to hone in on my content creation. So I wasn't just using my little like Sony Pixel camera anymore. I was working with a professional photographer, which is making my content crisp, clean, really gorgeous on the screen, really eye-catching. It's a lot easier for me to capture myself and the food, have both of us looking clear and clean in the shot, rather than saying like, well, this person can shoot the food but can't shoot the person, or vice versa. Like find someone who can do both. So once my content changed and I was working with a professional photographer, that's kind of where the big shift happened. Because for a restaurant to pay me to come in, it's not pay to play. It's not like every restaurant can just say like, hey, how much is it? And I'm going to come. It's going to be a restaurant that I want to go to, that I like their food. Or if it's a new restaurant I haven't tried, I'm scoping them out. I'm doing my homework, my research. What's the food like? So when somebody hires me for Buns and Bites, I need to make sure that I'm providing a value to that restaurant. I am providing them with deliverables. So not only in the form of my social promotion on Instagram, but they're also getting a gallery of edited photos from a professional photographer that they can now use on their social platforms. So I get people who are like, hey, I need a refresh from my Instagram. I know you do photos. Can we hire you to do, bring your photographer in? We'll take pictures of our food. We get the social promotion from you. It's bang for your buck. So, and the way I look at this, I think that a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't be charging, or I can't believe that like restaurants, or sometimes even restaurants themselves will be like, I can't pay like a blogger or an influencer. And I don't like the term, I don't like to label myself an influencer. But the way that I approach this is, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where were you seeing your promotions? Where were you seeing your ads? Or where was that restaurant spending their advertising dollars? Were they spending it on, WPRI? Were they spending it on 92 Pro FM, the Projo, print magazines, which are all obviously still great options, but those times have changed. 100%. And if you want to talk to 25 or like 18 to 25-year-olds, you have to get in the palm of their hand.
100%.
So this is where you're going to access them. If you wanted to talk to my mom, then you should either take out a Facebook ad or take it out on the morning news, because that's where you're going to talk to them. But a lot of restaurants, they want to talk to people who are my age, and this is where they are. So it's just a different day and age of advertising, of promotions, and that's how I have to kind of present this to people. So that's kind of like, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Like how I've scaled it to 100%. Be to monetize.
No, 100%. Especially business. When it comes to the idea of even deliverables, and you're speaking my language there when it comes to this business mindset. Because a lot of people don't really understand that. They think it's like, oh, she just goes in, walks out, and just shows her butt. But it's like, no. If you actually look at the content, there's way more to it. And if you actually go to the actual page, like I have myself, of the restaurants afterwards, and in their reposts and in the following posts, it'll be, like you said, photos of the high quality photos of their food, the same quality of what you have on your page. So it's like, obviously, like, oh, she obviously had to provide this. Like, this is like her package deal more than likely. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I think it's very respectable. Now, when it comes to the idea of the food reviewer, did you have any potential inspirations? Because everyone knows like so many famous like food reviewers, like the stereotypical Guy Fieri's, diners, drives in and dash, like these classic, stereotypical TLC type of content. Did you have anyone that was kind of maybe an inspiration prior to that?
Like locally, my favorite food blogger was always RI Food Fights. I think crushes it. I think that he, like, his whole business model is like brilliant, and he's very, very embedded in the food scene in Rhode Island. So he was always like a big deal to me. And I remember when I first got started, he asked a friend of mine, he was like, oh, you're friends with Buns and Bites. And I was like, oh my God, All Right Food Bites knows who I am. Like, that's so crazy. But outside of Rhode Island, like Naughty Fork in Miami, Dining with Skylar. And it's funny because a lot of these bloggers, they started off as kind of like the way that I did, where they would go to restaurants, and now I see them, and they've Naughty Fork now has like 1 million followers, and now all they do is at-home content of like cooking dishes. And I just think that it's so interesting, the progression of a lot of food bloggers. They start off going to restaurants, and now they're at home content creators of like recipe development. That is not the path that I want to take. I hate cooking. I never want to cook a meal again in my life. And I want to eat every meal out at a good restaurant and never have to wash a dish.
You never want to have, even like I've seen a lot of food reviewers say like their dream might be to even open a restaurant. You never want to open a Buns and Bites like location?
No, not really. My husband and I both have I have over 10 years in the restaurant industry. He has like over 20 years in the restaurant industry. I don't want to, if you're going to open a restaurant, you have to work in that restaurant. That's how it's going to be successful. That is how a successful restaurant operates. The owner is there. He is touching tables. She is like in the mix. You are on the floor. And
especially a popular person like yourself, they would want to visit to kind of see her. Is Laura going to be here today? Oh, she's here. You know, that is very true.
So I don't know. It's not that I'm going to rule that out. That might be like a future.
Yeah.
Like, I think that my husband has a really big, wide net in the food community here. So I think that if anything, we could open a bar, and he would have that bar full in a second. And I think that if we had the food on point, I could get the people in. Yeah. So it's not out of the question. We've definitely talked about it, but right now, probably not.
Yeah.
It would be such a big undertaking. And again, like I just got out of the restaurant industry, and I don't want to be
back
on the floor anymore. Not for a long time.
No, yeah, 100%. But I think it would be dope, just even aside from even taking away everything you've done from it, the name alone, since you have that name, I feel like that's such a powerful, that's a franchise name in my opinion. But let's not say too much on camera, because we might be giving people 100%. But now when it comes going back to the food reviewer concept, I like how you definitely named people even more on a local level or even more on an indie level, because it shows like you definitely were well invested into this. This is not something that was like overnight for you. You grinded, but you had an actual passion when it came to this. And a lot of food reviewers that do have passions, they obviously post the good and the bad. Have you ever posted or did you have a moment in your career when it came to the content on Buns and Bites being even like food you didn't like, or like, oh, this was not that great, or like, or did you have like any of those? Because for the most part, what I've seen has always been like, you know, like you said, and it makes sense now that you're saying it here and explaining it more. It's stuff that you approve of it and you actually support, and then you do business with them, so it kind of coincides. But do you have a moment of like doing like even like this type of, I guess, controversial content where it kind of might hurt someone's business in a say?
No, and that is, I get this comment more on TikTok where people are like, but like, where's the bad reviews? Like, why is everything so good? And I'm like, this is a happy page. This is a good page. Well, I'm not here to do negative reviews. I'm not here to shit on a small business. If I can bring people in the door, I can get them out the door. And that's like not what I'm here for. So basically, if I ever have a bad experience, which I really have not had, I really haven't had any like gone to a shoot, gotten there and the food's been bad. That's never happened.
Like raw randomly, or like cooked horribly, or like burnt. Like what
that's not happened. That's not happened. And if that was the case, I would have to have a very awkward conversation with them there and just say, this is not what I was expecting, up to par. Like, this is my reputation. So when people are like, oh, she's going to post anything. No, I'm not going to post anything. Like I said, I turn people down all the time. I'm not going to just go into anywhere. I'm going to go to places that I like. So if it's got my stamp of approval, then it's going on Buns and Bites, and that's it. I don't want to, I don't want to bring negative energy into what I'm doing. And I think that like, if I did go to a shoot and everything was good and there was one dish that I was like, that wasn't that good, I'm not going to post that dish. I'm going to leave it out. And also, I always say like, when I went to this restaurant, these are my favorite dishes. When I go to Matunic Oyster Bar, get the black and yellowfin tuna, get the bourbon oysters. Those are the best things on the menu. Like, make sure you try them.
Facts.
So if you're gonna, and I'm happy to answer any questions. If people message me, people ask me for recommendations all the time. I'm gonna tell you what to get. I'll plan out your dinner wherever you're going.
Yeah.
And so just hit me up.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's awesome. And at the same time, it is your opinion. So
yeah.
if they don't like it, they can just keep it pushing. This is her post, her opinion. So
If there's a restaurant that you're curious about and you haven't seen it on my page, then you should just ask me about it, because there might be a reason why I don't go there.
Yeah.
And I don't need to shit on a restaurant and have beef with people and have issue and have negative energy rolling around. So if there's a place that someone's curious about, you can DM me and I will share my thoughts on that restaurant with you privately.
So we already answered the best moment you've had, basically career-wise successful. When it came to now the worst, did you have any ever wild experience that you can share on camera? Going to these places, meeting so many people throughout these years, almost, more than half of a decade into this, I would imagine you've seen it all, done it all. So what has been the worst experience you've had as Buns and Bites and being a food reviewer?
My worst experiences with Buns and Bites aren't in the restaurants. They're with the people outside.
Really?
It's with users, with, whether it's trolls, which everyone has trolls. I'm sure that you get people in your comments that are, of course. So you already know that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I've had people who I'm friends with, people who I've worked with, that will try to screw you over, and it's just very disheartening.
Yeah.
I had one girl who I worked with very briefly. She was in school and I was obviously, I'm in Buns and Bites. I'm into this career now. And she wanted to work with me, wanted me to help out a little bit. And so I was happy to work with her. It was very, very short-lived. And years later, she tried claiming that she designed my logo and that I was ripping her off. And I had to, and she's putting this on social media.
Publicly sharing it with everyone.
Social media. So I had to confront her and say, hey, here are the receipts. This is what I paid this graphic designer to design my logo before I ever met you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And so just little things that with people that I'm just it can be discouraging. It can be very frustrating.
That would stress me the fuck out.
Yeah. When you work Buns and Bites is my baby. This is it's not only my dream, that I get to go out to eat and have fun and eat food and drinks at bomb ass restaurants all the time, but I work endlessly hard on it. Mm-hmm. I know, you said, people might say, oh, she goes in, she shows her butt, she eats some food, she leaves. Mm-hmm. No, there is research that goes in on the front end. There's a lot of work that goes in during the shoot. Yeah. There's even more that goes in after it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, I've spent my over a decade in the food industry. I know this, so I don't like it when people, try to fuck with it. So yeah,
but it is what it is. You can't please everyone.
No, you can't.
But even going back to the foundation, I just always have loved the name in itself. I feel like it's something that you've done a lot so far, but I definitely see the growth potential in that name and brand company as well. Buns and Bites, I feel like it's something
Buns and Bites trademarked.
Yeah,
incorporated.
Yeah, you got to. You got to, because that's something that you can. You can and probably will eventually, more likely, especially if you have it planned. You can take it.
It is. It's already
everywhere. But I'm talking about you can take it to an international level. That's something that is so homegrown, because we know you from here, Rhody. But
yes,
I could see a Buns and Bites anywhere, Italy, because just the name is so strong. I feel like
the show itself.
Yeah, I was so impressed right away. I'm like, yo, this is awesome.
It sounds good.
Yeah. So now, even going back to now, some of the criticism we can tackle it almost on a quick run through.
Yeah.
The stereotypical people's opinions, let's say, right? That you see the criticism in the comments. I want to get your quick, fast responses to them, your opinion, because I know you've seen it all. You face it on a daily basis.
Yep.
So even going to what we kind of alluded to, let's say if someone were to tell you, she's faking it. What's your response? I want to know
what they think I'm faking. So, because some people think I'm faking eating it, and they'll say, she doesn't actually eat all that food. And I'm like, no shit, I don't eat all of this food. I'm like, bro, there's a steak, a pizza, wings, pasta, mac and cheese, brownies. obviously I didn't eat all that food, but like if you want, I can go live when I'm eating and I can show you like what I'm eating.
Yeah.
So I don't know what people think that I'm faking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd love to ask them what I'm faking, but if they're thinking that I'm faking eating the food, no, I do eat food. I eat until I'm satisfied. So.
Another one, a stereotypical one, and I think I saw you yesterday. You dealt with this, at least similar to this comment. Let's say someone were to tell you, and perfect timing, we have the actual husband in the building, so we'll probably get his answer as well, or what you have seen him to answer as, I wouldn't want my girl doing that job, like Buns and Bites. What would you say to someone saying that?
I would say that that person's very insecure. And when I told my husband that I was going to do Buns and Bites, he was happy for me, encouraging, and supportive. And I'm not his property. I'm not his property. I'm a grown-ass woman, and I can do what I want to do. Yeah. So if you are saying that about your girl, then you should reevaluate yourself. That's what I will say about that. So. And
then another one, why does she always have to show her butt? Someone
Why
says,
do I always have to show my butt? Because it's in the name, babes.
Right,
I get that on TikTok sometimes. Why is she showing her butt? I think it's funny because in Rhode Island, a lot of people, whether they follow me or not, like they've probably seen it, whether it's in like shares or just like, people have seen my content. So if it's not so like shocking, I guess you could say, well, on TikTok, I feel like my content gets seen at a broader view. So people who aren't from Rhode Island will see it and they'll be like, what is this? Like, why is she showing her butt? And so I'll just respond. I'll be like, it's in the name. My name is Buns and Bites. What I do is food and booties and butts. And like, that's it. There's nothing else to explain. So it's a part of my brand. It's been a part of my brand since day one. It is a part of why I am here sitting and talking to you, because if I didn't have the buns and I just had the bites, I would just be like every other one of the 100 food blogs that we have in Rhode Island alone, never mind elsewhere.
Body positivity.
Yeah.
Right. Body positivity, your husband says,
It was very much like, and it was funny because you were talking to Jose, and I was listening to the podcast that you did with him, and he was in modeling, and I really wanted to be a model before I got into Buns and Bites. Like way before Buns and Bites, I was like, I want to do modeling. Like that is it. But obviously, I am 5'5" and I am not 90 pounds. So I was like heavily pursuing trying to be a model. I had a very unhealthy relationship with food, like the way I viewed food.
Really?
You know, if I had a bite of a cookie, it'd be like, I got to get on the treadmill because like I can't be tall, but I could be skinny.
Yeah.
So like it was very, very unhealthy,
100%.
That relationship with food. I ended up signing with a modeling agency in Boston. They put me in their curvy department.
Wow.
So like, because I'm not a stereotypical fit model. So that was very discouraging. I'm glad that I'm over that.
And what time frame was this around? Was this around college?
Around college.
Okay,
like around grad school, like pre-grad school and grad school. And so that relationship that I had with food was very much like being afraid of food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to get fat. Like I don't want to, I need to like have a small butt and like a small frame because like I want to be a model. And it just like obviously is really shitty to not enjoy food and to be afraid of eating food. So once I kind of was like, I'm going to table this. I'm not going to do it anymore. I want to be able to enjoy eating and going out 100%. And loving the way that I look. And I may not have a big, huge butt, but I may not have a teeny tiny butt, but I'm just going to love the one I have.
Yeah.
And we're going to and a big part of it was working with other women and having other women who also love their bodies. Like I love my body. I love the way I look and I'm very happy with it. And along the way, I meet other women who feel the same way.
Yeah.
And during COVID, I obviously couldn't really work with having models come and having other girls come, and not just models, like girls would just DM me, like random girls, I want to come through. So during COVID, I kind of had to put a pause on having girls come because obviously we would be unmasked, being very close to each other.
Yeah.
So I didn't have girls. And now that it's subsided, to say the least, I'm trying to get more girls back in the picture and bring back that, like, because I feel like it kind of lulled with like the body positivity and just like really having female empowerment and loving yourself and loving your body. So now I'm trying to get more girls back in the picture. So
that is true, because I do remember you did have a lot of content like that with the girls and like kind of like a group effort. It looked like like girls going out to hang out and then like a clique. And then obviously you do have the content where it's the same, but by yourself and
Yes.
rather than with the girls. Okay. And then also, people are going to always hate, or judge, whatever the case may be, but you never really have ever done nothing, in my opinion, where it became too far, too raunchy. You've always kept it tasteful.
That's very important to me.
Because I've never seen
work
you
with me if if I'm doing something crazy.
No, 100%. I've never seen you even toy with the idea of because you see what would be the closest thing you would see to. I think that's why you have an interesting niche where you do the buns, the idea of showing your behind, your natural behind, and body positivity, embracing who you are as a female. But then you incorporate it with the food aspect. And there's some girls who do the body positivity, but then, especially when it comes to social media, they might take it to another level where they want to, how can I monetize this? And they'll do like an OnlyFans or something, 'cause that's the only way they can really monetize off of it, unless they reach a modeling level or a sponsorship, advertisement level. But you have it where it's, you're fulfilling two perfect, niches that people love, like you said earlier. Who doesn't love ass, and who doesn't love food?
Yeah,
so it's a perfect thing. And now that I even know the full, you have a 10-year partner that's actually supported you in all this. So it's big time. When people actually kind of reveal what's happening behind the curtains, I feel like you can even get a better, even more respect of what you've done. Because stereotypically, I guess you would assume maybe but I think because of society, you might think, oh, she's doing this. Oh, and then maybe because of the comments, you look at the comments, be like I saw you weren't you kind of going at it or responding back to someone, was it yesterday or something? If someone was kind of saying going back to that comment of oh, I wouldn't see my girlfriend kind of doing this, etc. And then people are going to, assume as she's a hoe or something, oh, this girl's showing her body online. And we see that a lot. People always have that sort of mentality, that clouded judgment on females creating content. But you break that barrier completely, because it's not that at all. You are embracing who you are, and adding value to your opinion, and that's the food that you just love eating. And what has been that journey? Has it been kind of a struggle of kind of ever seeing you said that at first some people feel it's weird to monetize this, but then how's that journey been now transitioning to now you're booked up, it's perfect for you now, but how's that been, that journey? What has been kind of an inner struggle that you, if you have faced anything when it comes to how to place this in my life? Is this okay? Is this not okay?
It hasn't really so much been an inner struggle. I just want to make sure that the restaurants that I'm working with are happy with what I'm providing them with. They feel like it was a value.
That's your end goal.
But I also want to make it a value to me too, and a value to the photographer that I pay to come out and use her time. But then again, on the flip side of that, if I want to help businesses, at the end of the day, I'm hyper local Rhode Island's cheerleader. I want to support these restaurants, these small businesses. Going to a chain restaurant is a sin to me. Don't ever tell me that you went to a chain restaurant when you could go to a locally owned mom and pop restaurant. Cello's it's not a chain. It's a locally owned restaurant.
Yeah, Cello's doesn't count.
It doesn't count. It's a Rhode Island chain. It doesn't count. Anyways, now I'm off topic. Oh my God. Well, anyways, what I'm saying.
People that didn't want to work with you at the beginning, and they spun the block.
Yes. Yes, they did. And I will say that in a moment. But more so that when I interact with small businesses who are like, hey, I just started making cakes for birthday parties, and I make a really good cake, and I'm just trying to get my name out there. I don't have much of a budget. I can't afford what it costs to have you and your photographer and everyone come out and make content. I will work with her on that. Tell me your budget. I will work with you, and I will do something to create some sort of content for you, within your budget. So it's more so just that I want to make sure that I can help people, I can help Rhode Islanders, and in small businesses. So, yeah, but yes, with COVID, with people who are oh my God, we're transitioning to takeout only, or outside dining. We got to tell people this. I thought that when COVID hit, I was restaurants are dead. This is dead. Buns and Bites is dead because restaurants are gone. And it was literally the opposite, because so many restaurants that were hanging on for dear life were I will pay you to come in right now and tell everyone that we are doing takeout and we're doing discounts and we're doing all of this stuff. So restaurants were I will pay you to come in here. Please help us. So that definitely made a big difference. But yeah, as Justin was saying really quickly, there were plenty of people in the beginning who were like, I don't want that girl with the butt blog coming into my restaurant. I don't need that girl with a butt blog coming into my restaurant. It was very like, no. Plenty of people that I like then found out that these like restaurants would say that. And, you know, years later, they've got their checkbook out. Who do I make this out to? You know, like, who am I cutting the check to? Because they want me to come in. And I just think that it's very like, wow, it's eye-opening to see the progression of that. And also, you know, I had a friend now who at the beginning, she told me this. She said, I had a marketing meeting and my team came and they said, we have an Instagram girl we want to bring in. And she said, it better not be that butt girl. And they were like, oh, it is. And, you know, she's telling me this. And she was like, I don't know. I don't want her to come in. I don't need her to come in to promote my restaurant. I don't know. And they ended up hiring me. I came in. I met her. Obviously, at the time, I didn't know this. I found out later. I did my thing. I posted it. And she ended up approaching me afterwards and telling me all of this and apologizing and saying, like, now that I've met you, seen you do your work, see how you operate, like I see the value that you can provide. And I appreciate that. And I appreciated that more than anything, that like, you know, somebody who discounted me ended up giving me a chance and I could, you know, prove myself to be the value that I think I can provide.
Yeah, it's all about transparency.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's people have a lot of ego sometimes, and it's like, you could do something wrong, but you could be forgiven as well. So you just got to apologize. What would what would be, in your opinion, do you have like a number one restaurant that you've always loved, your favorite one in Rhode Island, or a top 5 if one is not suffice? Like, do you have a top?
Like places to eat?
Yeah.
It's tough. I feel like this question, it's, yeah, I feel like it's really hard for me to pick a favorite restaurant because I have favorites based on either like type of food or like occasion. Like I have a couple of favorites for like a nice dinner, like a date night, special occasion. Like I'm going to Oberlin, I'm going to Gracie's, I'm going to Persimmon. Those are my 3. When people hit me up for a date night or for like anniversary, those are the 3 I'm telling you, like hands down.
Always,
we just went to Gracie's the other night. We had our wedding at Gracie's. I love it. It's a fantastic meal experience. If we're talking about like casual or like, what's your favorite pizza? And that's another one because I'm like, well, what kind of pizza? I have favorites of like, I love Twins. If I want like a greasy, like,
Italian restaurants.
yeah. So like one of my friends has a pizza food truck and his pizza like fucks. It is so good. It is amazing. It's called Anna's Vesuviano. I'm giving them the plug. But you know, for pizza, like I love that. I love Twins. Matunic Oyster Bar is like full transparency. That's the restaurant that I worked at for a long time.
Oh, so some bias there.
You could say people might be like, oh, you're biased, but like, yo, I spent 10 years working there and I didn't get sick of that food, and I will go there right now. Yeah. And I will crush a lobster barehanded.
Oyster Bar, the one on Federal Hill?
No, in Matunic, in South
Matunic.
County.
Because then you worked at Oyster Bar,
no? I worked at, it's now Tap House, but I used to be Prime.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I used to work there.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he was there for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that.
I got sick of that one, yeah.
The restaurant industry. So.
Wow.
I was in there for 7 years. That shit
Wow.
was bad.
Yeah. 7 years is a long time to be
Yeah.
at one restaurant. It is. It is a tough industry. And especially COVID showed us that the underappreciation of restaurant staff. So everyone who is watching this, make sure you tip your servers. Tip them 25%. 20% isn't enough anymore. Tip them 25.
25.
They work so hard.
Bump it by 5.
Bump it by 5. They're working so hard, especially if it's around the holidays. Tip them 30. I'm just gonna keep going up.
Let's make it even more. Let's see if you answer this. So when it comes to, let's say, you know, God forbid, obviously, but let's say you're on death row, your last meal as a Rhode Islander, what would it be, your last meal? Whether it's from a specific restaurant or your favorite, that dish that you will want to get. Let's say it's an Alfredo from, you know, like specific, what would it be?
I don't know. Oh my God. Let me see. I really love the squid ink pasta from Persimmon. I really, really love that. I really love the black and yellowfin tuna from Matunic. I don't know that I could pick. I
gotta try both of those.
You should try both.
Especially if it's the last meal, I gotta try it. It's gotta be good.
I don't know. I literally, I feel like when I am asked this like a question like this, like your favorite meal, I can't answer it.
Yeah, I mean, you have so much amazing food.
Yeah. You would know. The tunas. If you like tuna, it's the best tuna dish.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And when it comes to worst, do you have like a worst dish or something that you would avoid? Like you just don't eat at all, or do you eat everything?
I eat everything. I can't think of like off the top of my head, like a dish that I've been like, oh, that wasn't good, or like that was a bad experience. There's just like when I do a shoot, I eat the food at the shoot. Like I have a whole table full of food. I eat the shoot like based on like what I like to eat. So if there's pizza, I'm eating pizza. Like if there's pasta, like I'm not the biggest chicken wing fan. Like I'll eat chicken wings. They're tasty, but like it's not what I'm gonna go for first. Like I'll try. I'll try everything on the table. But I'm not gonna be like I gotta load up on chicken wings. So usually, honestly, like really like American food, like burgers, hot dogs, wings, like things like that. I usually leave for last. So
big on whatever people specialize in.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Maybe my death row meal would be a giant crudo platter from Oberlin because that shit is unbelievable. It's delicious.
So
it's delicious.
That would be the three that if I was going to pick up your death row meal, those are the three things that I would.
But it has to be on the big platter. It wouldn't be able to be to go. I'd have to be there physically to eat it. Do you like crudo? Do you like raw fish?
So okay, because crudo, because I know that's what we say in Spanish is like crudo and something's raw.
Yeah.
So that's a whole raw genre of food, like raw.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I
So
never heard of
crudo.
that.
I'm assuming it's mostly seafood.
Yeah. Well, it can be any, like you can
Sushi.
have, it's usually fish.
Okay.
But you can have like, like a vegetarian crudo and it would be like all vegetables. But it's, and in that case, like sometimes it might be like a really thinly shaved like kohlrabi or like radish or something that's like, so, kind of like how, it is mostly fish. Because I'm thinking of more of like a ceviche. That like that's what, I'm sorry, that's what I'm confusing the two with. That like how you can make like anything into a ceviche if you're gonna cure it with like a lime juice and the onion. But crudo, crudo is just like a you can like you could make it into anything. If you go to have crudo at Bayberry Garden, they're gonna have it with like jalapeno and strawberry foam. But at Oberlin, they specialize in raw fish crudo, and he like takes the fish. And he will just fillet it and like thinly slice it with just like a top tier olive oil and like high quality. Yeah, obviously like high quality fish, like a sushi grade fish. And then like just like flaked sea salt and like the texture, the flavor that you get from fish when it's prepared that way is just supreme. It's just the most. If you like seafood, if you like fish, if you would try it, and like I've been to Oberlin with people before who they're like, I'm not a seafood person. I don't like sushi. I don't eat that. And they tried it and they were like, this is incredible. It's pure. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really great.
You're putting us on. We gotta have that.
I'm enthusiastic about
immediately.
it. Yes.
100%.
When it comes to you're from here, Rhode Island, a small state in the country. And obviously you're a female and you're a content creator. What has been the most, the biggest struggle you faced as a female content creator coming out of the smallest state in America? Has there been, that one specific moment that you kind of feel like in comparison to other people that might be in your position, that might not be a female, that might be from New York and not Rhode Island, in comparison to you being obviously a female from the smallest state?
Yeah. I think that while my content being Rhode Island focused is what has built my brand. But at the same time, I think that like I've been doing it for a long time. I have 50,000 followers. I think that if I had been doing this in like New York City or Miami or like in a huge city, I'd have a way bigger following. But at the same time, I don't think that I could necessarily like execute this in the same way. And I wouldn't get the same attention in that. In a different setting. So I think that like Rhode Island has really like, yes, it's a small state and, I don't have 100,000 followers, 1 million followers the way I could from like these content creators in New York do. But I think that like the success that I have is due to Rhode Island. In the beginning, I had talked to someone through Farouk who was in New York and he was a content creator, and I had a phone conversation with him in hopes of him giving me some guidance and advice. And he was like, so what do you want to do like with Buns and Bites? And I was like, oh man, like I want to go to New York. I want to go to Chicago. I want to like go to all these restaurants and like make content there. And he was like, whoa. He was like, you need to hone in and be the best where you are, and then expand your radius, and then be the best there, and then expand and expand, and just continue being the best with a bigger radius. But like, you need to start where you are and like conquer that, basically. Like, be the best in Rhode Island before you say, I'm going to be the best in Rhode Island and Boston and New York. And then, you know, the possibility is endless, but like, start where you are. And I think that Rhode Island, we have a fantastic dynamic food scene here. You know, we're the smallest state, but like, I've never been to like Missouri or Nebraska, but I can't imagine that their food scene is topping ours. So like, what's the big deal? Like, we might be small, but we have a lot going on here. We have incredible chefs. We've got Johnson and Wales. They pump out chefs that love it here. They fall in love with the seafood. They open up restaurants, and then we get to reap the benefits of it. It's fantastic. Yeah. So
what would you say is one thing that's like the most special thing about Rhode Island, since you are such a proud Rhode Islander? What's that one special thing about Rhode Island?
Rhode Island has many special things. So I was having a conversation recently with some friends. I was visiting a friend who moved to LA. I have a bunch of friends who moved to LA, and I went to go visit for the first time, and we had a blast. It was so much fun. LA is a very, very cool city. I could never live there again because I'm a Rhode Islander through and through. No, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I had a great time in LA, and anyways, all the people that I were with that were from Rhode Island were like, I can't go back to Rhode Island, little old Rhode Island, like, you know, oh my God, like, could never see myself doing that again. And I'm like, okay, so like, well, what do you love about LA so much? Oh, I can be at the beach. You know, obviously the weather, we won't talk about the weather. They got us beat with the weather. But if we take weather out of the, I can be at the beach. You know, there's always something going on. There's music, there's food, you know, there's just like an energy there. And I'm like, Rhode Island is lit. Like, Rhode Island, I can go to I'm like, you live wherever you live in LA, it's going to take you 45 minutes to get to the beach. I can get to the beach in 45 minutes. Like, I have, and like, I think the Rhode Island food scene competes hard with the food scene in LA. I'm like, and there's everything going on in Rhode Island. There's never not anything happening in Rhode Island. And the people who are saying that are closed-minded, and they are not actually looking at what is going on. You can find anything from PBD Fest in the summer, all the festivals in the summer, Yellow Cup, everything that happens in Providence in the summer, like, it is alive. People leave to go to the beach, and I'm like, you're missing out on the best part. Providence in the summer is like energetic and exciting. And like there's history here. Like, there's so much to do. You could find an activity to do, or like a new restaurant, a new bar, anything every weekend for years to come. 100%. So I think that Rhode Island's very, very special. We're incredibly diverse. We have like a melting pot of all different cultures that bring great restaurants, and we get to experience different cuisines. I think that like Rhode Island has it going on. Anyone who is mad at Rhode Island and they're from here, they're just not experiencing it right. And I should probably write out an itinerary for them to have a little bit more fun.
100%.
And get out of the house.
100%. Because no matter where they go in the entire world for the rest of their life, when everyone, you know, asks them, well, where are you from? They have to say Rhode Island. So you might as well be very proud of where you're from. You know, that's one key takeaway I've always say to people. And what would you say would be a key piece of advice that you can provide to someone out there, even specifically, you know, straight when it comes to the actual blueprint of what you created? Let's say specifically a young female growing up in Providence, Rhode Island, who's looking at Buns and Bites being very successful, and they want to become a content creator online. They want to become an entrepreneur, and they see everything that you've done, and they look up to it. What would you say to them? What would be that key piece of advice? So my blueprint, my timeline of what I would recommend is to get prepared, get all of the equipment, get all of the, get a plan ready. When I started Buns and Bites, I didn't just take a picture and post it. I made a month's worth of content so that I could then have it ready for when I want to launch it, so that once I'm actually posting and I'm then creating more content, I've got a backlog of content ready to go. So you have to be prepared and really think through your brand. Think about what you want to be representing and think it through. Make a plan, be prepared. Once you're ready, be consistent. 100%. I started Buns and Bites 5.5 years ago, and I have not, although my content has evolved and changed and grown, it has been consistent. I have not taken a break and said, I'm going to pause this while I like finish school or any. No, be consistent and like make sure that you're ready to stick through and you know, be ready to keep going if you're passionate about it. And this is specific to Rhode Island. Rhode Island is small.
yes, but use that to your advantage because everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows somebody who you want to talk to. So what is the room you want to be in? Who are the people that you want to talk to? Who do you know that knows them? There's somebody that you know. Like, use the connections and collaborate with people. I think that collaboration is key to success, especially in Rhode Island, and utilize the people that you know. I say that when I was starting, collaborating with other creators, collaborating with models, collaborating with hairstylists, makeup art, like everyone, like utilize the people that, because they want to work with you too. Yeah. So you might as well create these relationships, and then they're going to talk about you and you're going to talk about them, and you're going to get them a reference for, for makeup. And that person's going to say, oh my God, follow Buns and Bites. She's going to tell you where to go to eat this weekend. So it goes both ways. Yeah. And you might as well cross promote yourself, because when we're sharing this, you're accessing my followers, I'm accessing your followers, and vice versa. So
100%.
Yeah, I mean, collaborate and make connections and make relationships, and don't be afraid to network.
No, I love that. I always we say the same shit here all the time. It's like people gotta you use it to your advantage, man. Rhode Island, stop saying like that's why you're not successful because you're from Rhode Island, because you're in Rhode Island. It's actually the reason why you can be successful.
Yeah, if you can't move around here, where are you going?
No, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think you're a prime example, to be very honest. You know what I'm saying? This fruit fly is loving Buns and Bites,
you.
huh?
I've tried to.
We have never had a fruit fly in here during any interview.
Oh my God, did I bring it in
It must have known that Buns and Bites food was going to be talked about, and it was like just flying up in here.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest fruit flies I've seen in my life.
It's buzzing.
I thought it was a fly.
I don't know what's doing out here in winter, bro.
Oh my God.
How's it alive? It is thriving.
It's kind of red. Like, I don't know what's going on with it.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. So I want to talk about some topics with Laura, because I want to get her opinion on it, because 100% I've always heard things when it comes to, I've always heard good things about her when it comes to her actual presence and capabilities of speaking on a microphone, or just speaking in general to people. Shout out to Samuel Albert. He always mentions her and says like, oh, she's I love Laura. Laura used to do media content aside from her own stuff. She used to work with other companies, and it makes sense that you said that you used to work with one in downtown and stuff. So let's talk about some news topics with Laura from Buns and Bites.
I'll do my best.
So for starters, a sad news topic, unfortunate. And I saw this break while I was yesterday on YouTube. It randomly popped up. I'm like, a plane crash. But Nepal, Sunday, there was a plane crash. And unfortunately, all 72 passengers on board have been reported to supposedly have passed away Sunday morning. And this was a ATR 72 plane en route from Kathmandu to Pokhara, and in this region of not America, but the world, there's this wasn't specifically that airport, but there's an airport nearby around that area of Nepal that is known as the most dangerous airport to ever land in in history. Yeah. It wasn't the specific airport that this incident happened at, but it was pretty nearby it, and yeah, it's just a very tragic, sad story. Very unfortunate. These people all pass away, and it's become a big story as well, because especially if you go on Twitter, we won't play any of the videos here because it's too graphic for online YouTube, but there's so much videos of people, you've seen them, right? Of people on board and them filming literally
their last moments.
Their last moments alive.
Oh my God, that's tragic.
And it's very tragic, very sad. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that and to send condolences to all the families of everyone out there in Nepal and everyone that's lost their life. Very crazy. The videos, even the people out there, there was hundreds of people that ran over to try to help these people.
It was seconds before the plane landed too. It wasn't even mid-flight or something went wrong. But they do say that the two most dangerous times of a flight are when you take off and when you're about to land.
Yeah.
And I think that this was as they were about to land. I don't know what went wrong.
They're still investigating. They said a technical glitch.
So I saw a video that supposedly one of the engines was already on fire when it was you know what I'm saying? So there's multiple videos,
Yeah.
You see it where it's trying to turn and then it just plummets down. So I saw one where it's actually on fire on the right side. So I guess as he's trying to turn and stuff like that, it just it just ends up pretty much just turning around, just plummeting straight into
Oh man.
like it's just legit straight up like crevice in, you know what I'm saying? It's sad.
That's one of my biggest fears of my life.
know.
Like when I'm on a plane,
100%.
I try to tell myself like when I'm going on a trip or something, I'll be like, I'm not nervous. But then when I'm on the plane,
I know.
I'm
I
like,
hate
God
flying.
forbid this
I hate
happens. And this happened to, 72 people, unfortunately. But man, send the condolences again to them.
Yes.
Very, very, very sad story. Just definitely wanted to mention that and pay respects to those. And now, something obviously more lighthearted. This one is a holiday, so obviously happy Martin Luther King Day today.
Yes.
Martin Luther King Jr. Today's Martin Luther King Day, the day of this recording date on this Monday. But there has been a new statue piece of art revealed not too far from here in Boston that has gone viral though.
Catching big attention.
Big attention. We'll put it up right here on the TV if you're on YouTube and you'll be watching it with us. If you're listening, definitely tune into YouTube to watch the visuals of the podcast. But this has gone very viral and controversial by just looking at it because of the inspiration behind this actual, I guess you can call it sculpture. Okay, specifically it's a sculpture. So the sculpture is Martin Luther King Jr. hugging Coretta Scott King, right? So it's coming from this famous image of them and moment of them hugging. But when you look at the actual sculpture, it's not them, it's just their hands per se, their arms, right? So Twitter has taken this and made it into such a wild, like they sexualize this and everything. It gets so crazy.
I think if you're looking at it from a different angle, like we're seeing it here, but I've seen it at different angles where you just can't tell what is happening. You can't tell that it's hands. Like you see like an arm, but you can't tell it's an arm, and you see hands. So it's I can see why. I mean, it's definitely I want to appreciate this piece of artwork that's close to our home, but it's
yeah, because that's my thing. It's like New England. It's like I'm like, this is in Boston. I saw it viral. I'm like, this is in Boston. I'm like, I gotta go see this because just to see it in person.
Yeah, it's important.
But because it's like it's such a, and that's the irony of this is like it's such a dope, important situation. Everything surrounding it, the actual context. But then it's like the way they've taken these memes and stuff, like literally, because especially there's certain angles that I won't even pull up on here that they've taken it on Twitter, where like it looks literally like a penis, like someone's holding a penis, and like they make so many memes of like someone is standing in front of it, and it's like what the heck.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I think, in my opinion, to be honest, I think it's gotten so much backlash that I really feel like they're gonna probably revisit this sculpture. But then what are they gonna be able to do with it? Can they fix this?
I don't think they can fix that.
I feel like
they gotta do like the actual torso with their heads and stuff like that, because
it's gonna be big money too.
But then at the same time,
crazy.
It's art. So then I think it's doing its job, right? Because art's subjective. So it's like
us all talking about it.
Exactly. We're talking about it here. People are loving it online.
It just makes me wonder, like whoever the artist is, this wasn't just like, hey, I want to put up a sculpture.
Yeah.
You have to go through like it probably took years to get this done.
Yeah.
Right.
Had to
So
be.
this had to be put in front of, like many people, probably many boards, like a lot of people saw this before it was.
Adults said yes.
Yeah.
A lot of adults said yes.
So, and I'm sure that it had to be looked at from every angle.
Right.
So
I would imagine.
So everyone was just like, yeah, this is good. No problems.
But
And-
it's like, man,
And
people
now there's a problem.
people are loving it. Like, I would I won't even pull up none of the comments because I just know that just so wild. But yeah, for the most part, this is very such a funny situation. But here are some of the, let's see. Let's hope they're not oh my god, is this the best they could do? They're saying, who's the creator? Because I just want to talk. They're saying thing.
Yeah,
thing from Wednesday. Oh my god, I just finished that finally.
Which is a shame because instead of talking about how reading the comments and talking about how it looks like a penis, like on Martin Luther King Day, we like if it was actually done to its potential and its purpose, we'd be talking about.
So the other part of it is though, like when he asked why the buns with the bites, Because otherwise it would just be the bites and it would
Yes.
go by quick.
Yeah.
This would have just been. It would have been nice, but it would have been.
We would have been like,
flash in the
oh,
pan.
that's so nice.
This
Yeah, and
would've
then it
been-
would have moved on.
Yeah, exactly.
This will get talked about for a while,
especially the internet,
for a long time.
how the internet works. Flash in the pan is just the new.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So this is lasted. A little
Yeah. No, this is gonna, and especially if it's heavy as hell. I'm pretty sure they're not moving that shit anytime soon.
Nah.
Because if they're really gonna move it, you know what I'm saying, and it's more of an artistic piece. Yeah, people are like, "What the heck am I looking at?" Yeah, man, it's interesting. I never really seen nothing like this. Usually, especially when it's like commemorating something of this nature, so important to use like the face.
very formal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like removing the whole body, just the arms, like very unique. But then it looks like a penis from certain angles.
Sure does.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it looks like a heart right here from this angle when you get the elbow. But there we have it. Comment down below. How do you guys feel about this Martin Luther King sculpture that's shocked the entire internet because of its potential sexual imagery unintentionally or maybe intentionally? We don't know. We got to question the artist at this point. Yeah, now let's talk about this. I would love to talk about this, especially with Laura, now that we know, which I didn't know prior, that you have a modeling history. And when it comes to the biggest and most famous models, we have the controversy surrounding the Miss Universe pageant, the annual, and I'm going to break down after this some of the stats when it comes to Miss Universe. And the runner-up, amongst the runner-ups, I think it might have been 3. I didn't know the full, right, the final 3.
Final 3, yeah.
And Dominican Republic was, and I'm more biased because I'm Dominican, right?
Yes.
At the same time. So I'm definitely going to come from a biased standpoint. But then I searched online. I'm like, am I the only one that kind of felt this way? Like Dominican Republic was
She's
snubbed.
gorgeous.
Like she's gorgeous.
The
Like
most beautiful.
yeah,
of all of them. I
yeah,
think.
the most beautiful of all of them. And like her answer to the questions was very like on point too. So I'm like, all right, this is not, because at the same time, is it a beauty contest? But at the same time, you want to have someone that's going to represent the universe, so they have to have a good brain on their shoulders.
100%.
And her answer was amazing. And then we have people like making so many memes because the winner was Miss USA,
Yes.
and we are American as well. So, but let's be honest, I don't know. In my opinion, look at this. This was her outfit that went viral. This was I'm gonna connect the audio
You
to
want to connect it?
yeah. For the people
so I
to
will
hear.
say that the Miss USA who won, her background is as a costume designer.
Really? So
Yes.
she probably designed this.
She designed this. She made this whole
Oh,
thing.
wow.
Like she builds like a big thing of what she does is
See,
she'll
that's
make,
where context
Victoria's
matters.
Secret wings.
Oh,
you know,
wow,
you know
okay.
the Victoria's Secret
Oh,
wings.
wow.
She'll build them like out of like crazy like metal and like.
Oh wow.
So while I think that this could have been, I mean, like this is not my style costume. It's interesting. It's eye catching for sure. I think that it's for her. It's art. You know what I mean?
Craftsmanship.
It's craftsmanship.
She's
It's-
skilled. She created it.
Miss Universe, stars in the moon and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I guess she's trying to be very on brand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very on brand. But
And you can listen to some of the commentary where it was kind of, going back to the on brand.
Can you hear it?
USA. When Americans stepped on the moon in 1969, it was one small step for man. Today, women are more involved as leaders in returning the U.S. to the moon. This delegate is representing NASA's Johnson
God,
Space
it must be
Center
so hard
in
to
her
walk in. Oh my
hometown
God.
of
100%. It's got to be
Houston.
very hard.
imagine in heels,
Pretty soon,
carrying the moon on your back.
she'll be on the moon, USA.
Oh, man. But this is one of many. If you just search, let's say, it probably is in my search history, Miss US. Oh, yeah, Miss Universe. Let's go. Let's see, and hopefully it's censored enough.
Oh, there
But
she
people
is. There's your
supporting,
girl.
people supporting Dominican Republic. People commenting on, okay, so this was the first Miss USA win in 10 years. So she is obviously making history. It's a historical point. And going back to, like, we obviously are American. But, I don't know, maybe have the memes kind of subsided?
Well,
Not
it's also like the most American thing ever. Like that you could expect was the crazy, gaudy,
Mm-hmm.
wild ass entrance that
Well, that's like a thing that like they each have to make a costume or have a costume of their culture, of their country. Very American.
Very American.
Very American. Yeah.
She lived up to the brand.
But look, I think Mrs. Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
and
Mrs.
Venezuela too. She was the top 3. They're all gorgeous, but like, you know, like you said, it's a lot more than just being a pretty face.
Yeah, because my thing is like, I don't know, because I think one of the prior, I'm pretty sure from what I remember, one of the prior owners of this entire, like the Miss Universe organization, wasn't it Donald Trump years ago, right? Like he was like the main owner,
Yeah.
but
he was definitely Miss USA. It was Donald Trump. It might even still be.
it might, who
Donald
knows?
Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But now
Miss Universe is now owned by a woman.
Yes.
And she's from Thailand, I think.
Yeah, I believe something of that nature. And this is like her first, I want to say her first year after owning it, that they're doing the actual
I think she's from Thailand.
Thailand. She's overseas, she's foreign.
Yeah. But because I was reading about this, and obviously there's always, you know, anytime there's a win, you know, your person doesn't win, people are gonna be like, it's rigged. And there's always gonna be people saying like, this is rigged. But in this case, the winner, I can't remember the exact details, so please excuse me, but the winner like gets a contract with some beauty company, and Miss USA, like the day after this win, there was a beauty campaign already like airing of her in like featured in that beauty campaign. So they were like, oh, so y'all shot this.
Conspiracy theorists are rising.
Right. So this is what I'm reading. That might not even be fact. That might not. Maybe there's some like, you know, some information that we don't know about that. But in terms of the controversy, that is what I've seen.
Yeah, because that's my thing. Because I was like, oh, I'm coming from a biased standpoint, but at the same time, look, this is one of her answers, right? Listen to this answer. From a non-biased standpoint as well, objectively, everyone was saying the same thing. I'm like, oh wow, everyone was really wanted Miss Dominican Republic to win. This was her answer to one of the questions that went viral.
I understand that the Miss Universe organization is looking for an ambassador, somebody who's able to communicate a message. I have been working for women's rights for as long as I can remember. It's been my actual day, every single day. I'm here to demonstrate it doesn't matter where you come from. Your background does not define you. Your courage and determination do. And I will show that by working every single day, showing my leadership and determination. Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Dropping bars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. Again, maybe I'm biased. You know, Laura's not Dominican, and you're agreeing, right? You're
I'm agreeing. I think I had hopes for Miss Dominican Republic.
And did you have like a back? So have you watched this like every year?
Yeah,
or
I used to watch it more. I didn't watch this. I was keeping tabs on social media and like keeping the updates, and I was looking up Miss Portugal. She made it top 16. She didn't make it up, but it's okay. But so I was seeing like what Miss USA was doing, like watching some of the interviews online. But yeah, I mean, I've watched it in the past. I've watched more like Miss USA, and I've obviously like at like the Miss Rhode Island level, I've known so many girls that have like been Miss Rhode Island or like have tried out for Miss Rhode Island. So it's interesting, you know, to watch go all the way up to obviously Miss Olivia Culpo from Rhode Island. She was the last 10 years ago the winner of Miss Universe. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, I think that was the last Miss USA.
Yeah.
That one Miss Universe.
Yes.
No, yeah, I was very because that was the first thing that sparked my interest. Like, oh wow, I forgot that was happening. I'm like, okay, Miss Universe is happening again, and I'm like, oh, Dominican woman is involved, and like she should have won. And I'm reading all into this. I'm like, wow, this makes a lot of sense, right? But aside from that, I looked up into some of the stats, and I'll read them for some of the people that don't know some of the stats. And I guess the fruit fly might join the conversation for this one. Yo, this damn fruit fly is great. We gotta get one of those fly zappers.
Yeah.
I used to have them. I didn't think we would need one in here, but now I'm gonna have to buy one for in here, right? Just in case. So for those who don't know, very interesting stats of Miss Universe. So the Miss Universe pageant that happens every year gets a estimated 500 million watchers as an audience every year. Wow. Because think about it, I guess it's everyone from across the world, worldwide. You know, it's a 70-year-old event, has an annual budget of $100 million. God damn. A lot of money. And the winner gets $250,000 as a year salary per se. Wow. Okay. So they definitely don't got to work for her financially. And aside from that, Miss Universe doesn't have to worry about groceries, cooking, clothing, accessories, or transportation. the Miss Universe organization takes care of everything that they're going to be doing throughout the entire year.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And they get to also live in a luxurious apartment for free for the entire year in New York. You know, I'm pretty sure it probably is if they want to. I'm not thinking they're not going to force them like you have to live here. Like, but who wouldn't want to?
No? Yeah.
You know, who's going to say no?
Yeah, I'm sure that Miss Universe is like, it's also a jumping pad, stepping stone for, you know,
100%.
leading into modeling contracts, you know, sponsorships, brand deals. So obviously you'd want to be in New York, no matter where in the world you're from, you probably want to be in New York to have access to all of that.
It's
So
the epic center of like modeling. You know, it's at least one of them. You know, for sure. And it says here, although Miss Universe will be busy traveling, Miss Universe gets to attend a lot of popular events, fashion events, several events, parties, meeting celebrities, and it's all with the purpose to raise awareness and work towards raising money and awareness for charities and helping the Miss Universe organization's awareness and just helping the brand. So that's like their end goal. And the new owner of the organization made sure to get a new crown. They've designed the crown and changed it 9 times over the 70 years, but the most recent one by the new owner of the organization, Anne, has gotten 110 carats of blue sapphires, 48 carats of white diamonds, and a 45.14 carat royal blue sapphire at the center with an approximate value of $5.75 million for the crown. And yeah, they get to wear this crown.
So I want to know, does it like stay with them? Or
that's what I want to know. I was looking it up.
They can't just let you be like, all right, here's a $5.8 million crown.
There was no
Just
answer
keep
to
it
it
in the closet at your penthouse in New York.
Man,
I
No way.
doubt it. I doubt it. I think
They've
it's
gotta
just
bring
in
it
the
to them.
moment, and then if she has
But
to
they
go to
wear
some,
it. Yeah, like events,
Right,
they wear
yeah,
it. So
I'm
maybe they
assuming-
bring it to them.
Yeah, 100%. Because
yeah, you can't drop that.
you're not gonna let just anyone handle 5.7 mil. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I'm surprised they haven't done, and might be a free pitch out there, but hey, you said it here first, but that would be a dope movie. Like many like these murder mystery or like robbery heist type of style shows and movies popping up. Imagine stealing the crown of Miss Universe, bro. Because $6 million for a crown,
Yeah.
That's wild.
and it's probably not too heavy. This probably can't be that heavy. And even if it is heavy, it's small. It's easy to hide. It's just a
I don't know,
crown.
It's like this. It's like if you look at her when she has it on, it comes like
let's actually look at this.
it's like up to here. It's big.
Let's see if I find the actual crown. Because my thing, it was like, I'm thinking like, okay, it's like costumey. I didn't even think it was a real like
Oh no, it's
royal crown.
rare stones.
But then I read that, I'm like, wow. I wouldn't be mad winning this competition. Here we have. That's so crazy. That video always pops up with the people.
Not that big, but
Miss Universe crown. And Miss USA. Well, now Miss Universe, if you're listening, feel free to stop on by if you like one day.
yeah.
Here we have what right here, the crowning of the winner. Let me see if I fast forward to get the actual crown.
This one's from.
Oh, it's an older one?
This is from 10 years. Yeah, this is Olivia when she won 10 years.
Okay, that made sense. I'm like, why is it?
But
Oh, there we
it is.
have
But
it.
This is it.
This is the
Okay,
crown. This is all we
might
need to
be
see.
The new crown.
Wow.
So maybe it's
Yeah,
not
that's
that
the blue.
big.
Yeah, that's the blue diamond in the middle. Yep, that's it right there.
Okay, so it's not as big as I thought.
Wow.
Yeah, you see that guy. He's the crown.
He's
man.
the crown guy.
He's the guy.
He's the guy.
Yeah. He.
They look. His hands are tight on that. He's not letting that go at all.
Fucking touch it.
He's like, yo, look, his hands are shaking. He's like, no, this is. Yeah, if he drops that crown, that would be oof.
Yeah, that's his job, bro. That's what he does.
Yeah, man. But comment down below. Feel free to share this. Share your opinion, guys. If you guys feel the same way, was Miss DR snubbed? You know, who should have actually won? Are you more biased because of your actual, country? But that's a very interesting topic to discuss right there, Miss Universe. Now I want to get Laura's opinion on this one. A bit more spicier, a bit more controversial, but I would love to talk about this, especially with you as a female. This is gonna be interesting because we love talking about this man specifically as well in here all the time. Pete Davidson, right?
Block us again.
Oh man, yeah, he blocked us at one point. It got
Did he
bad,
really?
Laura. Yeah,
Oh my God.
It got bad. It got bad.
Wow, y'all are on the radar though? You're on Pete's radar.
Yeah, it got bad. It got bad. But we don't mind. Hey, can't please everyone. But let's start with this lady right here. So the concept, the topic and the context of this topic is Lori Harvey. For those who don't know, Lori Harvey is Steve Harvey's daughter. And I just learned, I guess it's not even his, like,
No,
it's his stepdaughter.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
He's
that.
adopted her though, I believe. I think that he's like legally adopted her though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know why, in my eyes, I'm like, oh yeah, she looks like him too. I really thought it was his daughter like this whole time, but now reading more into it, she's getting a lot of popularity all over the blogs because of the fact that, you know, before all of her dating, she's always been a very beautiful young lady, right? So people are like, wow, like, you know, they put her in rap songs, like Meek Mill rapped about her. But then, since she is a celebrity, everything that she does is in the limelight. And when she started dating, her first big publicized relationship with someone of a celebrity status was Future, you know, and that was all over the place. Like, oh man, Future. And we all know how Future does. Yes. The toxic king, right? He's gonna, you know, do what he does, you know, Future Hendrix himself. And that fell through between them. And then we had her again the following year with Michael B. Jordan. And Michael, that one went even more viral because
that's Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan is like a hot catch, and everyone, you know, he's, you know, especially during the Creed point of the movies coming out, he was like the #1 like actor in Hollywood, especially young, you know, actors, and they were posting each other all the time.
Yeah,
you know,
lots of PDA.
A lot of PDA, because Future didn't, you know, Future doesn't really post. It was just kind of like a known thing. They were dating. They would be low key, but it was known. But with her and Michael B. Jordan, it was all over the place. So they were saying like, oh, wow, Lori Harvey is dating Future, and now she's dating Michael B. Jordan. And now she just posted with Damson Idris, you know, famous actor, most notably known for his role as Franklin Saint in The Snowfall.
Such a good show.
One of my favorite shows to ever exist on FX. And he's another one that people, you know, especially girls, love posting. I'm like, oh my God, I want some of Franklin Saint every time the show drops.
I don't know who that is. Let me look that up.
Franklin, just look up Franklin Saint. You'll recognize him right away. Damson Idris, you know. Yeah, he's a great actor. I love his portrayal in Snowfall of the character. And now it was on her birthday. He posted a photo with her, and then throughout the birthday, she started making some more posts with him, and it was kind of rumored. But now we have the full-on PDA basically confirming the relationship with her and Damson Idris. So Lori Harvey.
How long has it been since they broke up? Him and her and Michael B. Jordan?
I want to say 6 or 7 months, people are saying. 6 or 7 months.
He proposed to her?
Michael B. Jordan, that wasn't, they were allegedly saying that wasn't a confirmed that he might have, you know, wanted to marry her. Because it was all rumors of why they break up, right? People were like, oh, why would they break up? Like,
they were so in love. Like
they were so in love. They were all over, you know, going to games, etc. You know, they both seem perfect. What's going on?
Two such beautiful people.
Literally
the most beautiful people.
Right. But now she's with Damson Idris. So now the internet is interneting, especially Twitter. And, you know, a lot of people, especially a lot of male commentary is going on to call her a hoe. Oh my God, she's a hoe. She's with another guy. She's a damn hoe. Lori Harvey's a hoe. Oh my God, like she went from Future to Michael B. Jordan to now Damson Idris. She's a hoe, right, guys? She's got to be a hoe. Like that's hoe behavior.
I thought the controversy was that they were homeless.
That's another one, right? And that's what kind of would allude more to like people thinking like, oh, she's a hoe, but a messy hoe because she was with Michael B. Jordan, right? And now Michael B. Jordan was a friend of Damson Idris, and now she's with one of his friends? Like, why is she dating one of his friends? Like, that's some whole type shit. Oh my God. And Twitter has been going crazy. But then I fall in line with the opinion of this one, the actual hypocrisy, because, and I love this tweet where it pointed out, you know, if you read the actual caption, let's read the actual, what does it say, the actual title of the actual text? That's the thing about desktop. The tweet. Okay, it says, okay, he must have crazy sauce, talking about Pete Davidson. And when it comes to Lori Harvey, what's wrong with her? And it's very true because, especially when we go to Pete Davidson, we talk about her here all the time, you know, and they're actually missing a couple people, Marlon, right? Aren't they missing?
They're missing. Oh.
Yeah, Emily. Aren't they missing the recent one? Emily, we spoke about it here.
Sorry, bro, man. Mr. Sauce himself, I guess.
What's her name? The blonde chick.
Yeah,
What,
right.
Miley?
No,
Oh, okay.
Is is Larry David's daughter is one of them, right?
That's her.
Right there?
Oh, that's Shania Twain's daughter,
Yep.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
So Pete Davidson not a hoe? People are like, oh, Pete Davidson, man. Oh my God,
He's the man.
he's the man. Like he got Kim, he got Ari. Oh my God, he's the man. But then Lori Harvey's the hoe, and like she's messy. And it's just funny to
Double standards,
this
bro.
double standard that we live with in this
Is Michael B.
society.
Jordan not dating anyone? Is he abstaining and he's not seeing any women? Yeah, you mean to tell me that Michael B. Jordan's not seeing anyone? I think not. So if he's dating, then what the heck is wrong with her dating?
100%. And now that got
There's no
confirmed,
reason.
I think
They
today.
could have been broken up a week ago and she could be dating and there'd be no problem with that. She's
Yeah.
what, 26 years old? And also these people are in the limelight. They're in the spotlight. We all have a cousin, a friend, a person who we know that broke up with their boyfriend and then started dating someone, or broke up with their girlfriend, started dating someone right away. And no one's batting a lash at that. These are people, we're speculating on their lives from afar.
Right.
Yeah. No, 100%.
People so consumed with other people's lives is crazy.
Oh no, it's amazing. It's amazing to me, and it's like, I would be like, I'm like, yo, you guys, if you're championing Pete Davidson, you should kind of be championing her. Like, let her do her thing, and like, she's not dating no random people either. You know, she has a very high acquired taste, and they seem to be, you know, very obviously they're handsome men. Right, you know, I'm not interested in men, but I can admit when I see a handsome man. Michael B. Jordan is a handsome man. Damson Idris is a handsome man.
Yes.
These are handsome men.
100%.
You know, so yeah, you know, and now people want to, you know, take it to this level of her being a hoe, and it's just so crazy the way the internet works.
Salty. They're so salty. They're so
Oh my God.
mad.
Because they can't, you know, they ain't going back that.
Listen,
No, they're not. They're not.
listen. No, it's insane, you know. But if, let's say, you know, if blessings to her relationship, I think she's married Ariana Grande. But if Ariana Grande does get single, we have a bachelor right here.
Oh, for sure.
Marlon.
I'm in there.
You know, Ariana Grande.
Ariana
sure.
Grande
Huge
dates
fan.
like she gets a guy and then they break up and she's no
Yeah.
one like
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
well
yeah.
I think she got a lot
They
of
definitely
heat.
comment-
People were
People were giving her some heat, right?
When she went from Mac to,
Oh, to Big Sean.
yeah, no, wait, what?
What do you mean from Mac to the
Like,
new guy?
Yeah. So,
Because of the Mac Miller's death and everything.
Yeah. But they were saying like, oh, like they were so good together, this and that, and then
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying. So they always talk shit.
That's true.
Regardless, no.
Well, we don't know any like celebrity lifestyles or you know who knows what happens behind their closed doors. But we see
100%.
them out in the tabloids. We see
Yeah.
them out on TMZ. But I mean, who knows? And you know, she might be like, I'm going on tour, and like we're not going to see each other for the next 7 months. Like,
Yeah.
let's not make it work.
And
You
the
know,
most
we don't know. We just don't know.
The most fascinating thing to me about the Lori Harvey situation is the fact that Lori Harvey doesn't even talk. Like we haven't really. I think recently now she's starting to do some newer, shorter form interviews. But Lori Harvey, we never even heard her like really speak. It's not someone that we grew up like seeing and like sort of like, you know, the day to day, the reality shows, etc. It's just her living. She's always just lived her life. So one can easily assume that these men are with her because they love her. They are seriously interested in her, and she has to be, you know, interesting person because
They all seem very like. I mean, it's PDA, but they all seem very
in love.
interested in each other.
there was
from what I've
a
seen.
Damson Idris video that at her birthday when they were all singing happy birthday to her, and it went viral of him. They made like a meme of him because he was like laughing. And while she was like getting happy birthday sung to her, and like one of his friends like holding him back, and then people were like, "Oh man," his boy was telling him, "You better act like you've been here before," because he was like so like acting so like in love and so much PDA, and people were like, "Oh my god, he's got to cool it down a bit," but he's happy.
100%.
Why are we
Let
gonna?
people be happy?
Why are we gonna hate on
Let them
someone's
be happy.
happiness? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like 9 times out of 10, or even almost damn near 9.9 times out of 10, the people making these tweets of calling her hoe, etc. It's like, how many people have you been with? You know what I'm saying? And like, what are you talking about? Like, or maybe you've been with no one. Like, what are you saying? Like,
bro, they got no hoes. You know,
you got
what
no,
I'm
you
saying?
know, you got no, you calling someone a hose because you never had no hoes.
A lot of people, especially when it comes to the case of promiscuity, a lot of these dudes are lucky that they got a look thrown at them from somebody that they would call a hoe on the internet.
100%.
And that's how that goes.
That's facts. No, that's very facts, man. But there we have it. You know, comment below, share your opinion. How do you guys feel about this Lori Harvey situation? you know, she's obviously not a hoe.
We're declaring it. She's not a hoe.
Yeah,
No.
it's like
stated that she's not a hoe.
it's a fact at this
Yeah,
point. Like
get
we
that-
She's living
Get
her
that
life.
man off
She's living
that
her
screen.
best life with these hot men. Like, leave her alone.
listen. Lori Harvey's winning.
She's winning. She's
Lori Harvey is winning. There's nothing much more else to
Yeah,
say.
she's so beautiful.
She's
Like,
gorgeous.
I can't even take it. She's so
No,
gorgeous.
she's very beautiful.
She's very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
she's very, very, very beautiful. So shout out to Lori Harvey and Damson Idris. Congratulations.
Right. Yeah.
You got yourself a hell of a catch. You know, the whole internet is jealous in this situation and hating on you, you know, but just, you know, eat it up. And at the same time, he's winning as well. Let's not get that mistaken. We have Snowfall, I think in a couple weeks, a new season's coming back. The final season. After a controversial season last season, a lot of people didn't love it, including myself. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Tigers and cages.
That tiger thing threw me for a
Oh
loop.
my
I was
God.
like, what is happening here?
Like, that
This
is- Jesus.
Y'all hit a writer's block, and I don't know what y'all did, but
Like, they're just
that should've been
spitballing,
cut.
throwing shit at the wall here, trying to see what sticks. Like,
I'm confident for the next season.
yo.
Yeah.
Yo, put a dragon. Like, keep it
Like, what the fuck is this? But, you know, the final season, I'm praying for the best. The trailer looked awesome, you know, and he seems to be in good spirits, so he's probably giving us his best performance, you know.
I did not know he was British until like well after watching the show. So I couldn't believe just how well
The voice.
the voice, like the accent, like, and then hearing him speak in his British accent, I was like, what?
No,
Oh
not
my
for
God.
nothing. There's a trend. There seems to be a trend of young, specifically young black male actors coming out of UK and dominating the scene or making impressive, you know, moments in Hollywood and movies and in shows. And then people don't realize it until they see interviews of them and they're talking. I'm like, what the heck? So you acted already good, but you acted so good that you changed your dialect and everything. It's like, and he's one of those people. That's how he got the show.
Because he had the LA accent
Inflection.
from that era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying so down packed that they were like,
John Singleton, rest in peace, John Singleton, the creator of the show.
he was like, we can't not use him.
Yeah, he took him for a walk or
Same
something.
thing with his uncle.
Yeah, so he's a very, you know, impressive man. So listen, congratulations to
Yes.
both
We're
of them.
happy for him.
Yes.
And yeah, there we have it for today. We appreciate you. Any last words you want to share about any of the topics or anything in general when it comes to yourself, Laura, Buns and Bites, and the whole, you know, the whole enchilada, you know, pun intended because of the food.
Yes, the enchilada. No, just thank you so much for having me here. I feel like anytime I can connect with people, I love what you guys do. I think you guys absolutely crush
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
this scene, this industry. So I'm really happy and honored to be here. It's funny because I would listen to your podcast and I would watch like a lot of the stuff that you guys would do, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like I wish I could go on that. And then like literally days later, you were like, hey, do you want to come on? And I said, yes, I do. Yes. And so yeah, I'm very happy to be here. I hope that I can clarify things for people.
Yeah.
Like I hope that people who may have seen me but may have not followed me, maybe they'll get to know me a little bit better, give me a chance. Maybe they'll take my food recommendations. I really do. I really love giving people curated food recommendations. And which is why I built my website. Use my website, bunsandbites.com.
Awesome
It
website.
is
Awesome website.
literally designed to be a search engine for Rhode Island food, where you can search saying like, I'm in Cranston right now. I am in the mood for tacos. What can I get for tacos in Cranston? And it will populate all of the tacos in Cranston. And like you could say, I'm in South County. What's good to eat? So by type, food type, and by location. And there's hundreds of restaurants on the website. So use the website,
Yeah.
follow Buns and Bites, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, I appreciate
No,
the
it's
support
mutual. It's mutual.
and the love. So thank you guys.
Thank you,
We're
thank
excited.
you.
You know, I think it was an awesome conversation. I think people are gonna love this, and even if they don't, I love that even more. You know,
Yeah.
if we got some more Buns and Bites haters, you know, after this, some
Oh,
more,
we love the haters.
more
I'm sure
cap,
there is.
more
We
cap,
love the
you know,
haters.
more
Yep.
Club Ambition podcast haters.
Yep.
Come this way.
Come
For
this
every
way.
share, if you see 100 shares on your post,
Yeah.
you know that like 20 of them are people laughing
Yeah.
at you. At least for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
I know that there are people probably laughing at me, but I'm like, thank you for sharing my post because you just boosted
Yeah.
my engagement, honey. Thank you
100%.
so much.
100%.
So it's all good. It's it comes with it. Like you said, you get lots of weirdos and trolls in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
It comes with the territory, and yeah, you can't be too mad at it.
No, 100%. Especially when you have good intentions and you have a good, like, you know, mission statement, and you have one, you know, it comes from a genuine space. So
Yep.
why are you genuinely hating other than just to be a hater? You know what I'm saying?
Being a hater.
And that's the problem with a lot of people. But, you know, fuck them. We're here.
That's right.
Here to stay. Rhode Island.
Yes.
Forever. Appreciate everybody listening from across the world, and especially the Rhode Island listeners. Providence, we love you. And we are out. Cap.
They gon' love me for my ambition.